So, it's G.I. Joe #1, and our real American heroes have a pacifist scientist to save. The team's assembled and infiltrates a proto-version of Cobra Island. Cobra Commander's island reception includes a massacred fishing village for the recon team to find. Over the years, people have criticized Stalker's cold refusal to allow the Joes to bury Cobra's innocent victims. There's some college thesis or the like online, the writer citing it as an example of the cruelty of the concept, the tastelessness of ever selling this material to kids. Hama presents this matter-of-factly. It's only a 2-panel scene. One of the Joes proposes burying the victims. Stalker bluntly tells him why that isn't feasible. They have a specific job to do, one that can't allow even this act, regardless of its civility. Remember, a soldier's job is to do the unthinkable, and then be forgotten. Making Cobra so bloodthirsty, though, is dropped soon enough. The battle ends with their target injured, their gear destroyed, and the villains escaping. Along the way, Joes and Cobra constantly outwit and outplot one another. Some clunky dialogue is used to justify the toy premise, but overall, it's competitive with Marvel's product of the era. Dr. Burkhart tells us no one has a monopoly on scruples, a recurring theme of the book. And the Joes depart with the joke about never forgetting how to ride a bike. Hama's recycled that one a half-dozen times over the years. The philosophical debate, and the adamancy of protecting the rights of those you disagree with, is another recurring theme in Hama's stories. The Joes exist in an imperfect world, but this is never used as an excuse for moral relativism. And, as we discover by the end of the story, Dr. Burkhart is no monster. Her point of view isn't supported by the story, but the more enlightened Joes are respectful of her beliefs. If you're familiar with 1980s Marvel, you might be aware of Big Jim Shooter's fondness of the "I can't, yet I must" conflict. Shooter, at least according to John Byrne, felt this was the essential conflict in storytelling. It's possible Hama conceived of the Joes taking a mission they don't really want as a means of conforming to Shooter's philosophy. If so, it's another example of Hama taking in outside mandates and incorporating them, with no obvious stitching, into his work. The backup story in this oversized debut issue is Hot Potato, another story of obeying orders and not your whims. Stalker, Scarlet, and Snake Eyes find themselves stranded somewhere in the Middle East, a location that was apparently deemed, years later, as Trucial Abysmia, the fictional Middle Eastern nation frequently used by Hama. Their mission is to endure the harsh conditions and successfully transport a classified package, our hot potato, out of the country. The true hot potato is which Joe is going to be the one to escape with the package and leave Scarlet to die. She's adamant they complete the mission, and in the final moments, we're saved from a bleak ending, thanks to the machinations of Hawk and Stalker. And that wraps up this opening installment of A Writer Reflects. The idea is to look back on influential stories during my formative years, and I certainly did consume a healthy amount of Larry Hama comics as a kid. I'm using AI text to voice on this because I'm not going to buy a Yeti mic. I'm also not turning off my air conditioning, and I lack the patience for audio editing. Everyone, say thank you to the AI goblin speaking these words. Yes, he will consume your souls, but I've made him promise to be gentle. You can find links to my fiction and nonfiction in the description. Some literary fiction, some alt-lit, some paranormal, noir, and other genre material can be found there. Most of my reads are free on Kindle Unlimited. Check out the YouTube channel D-Shay7 Gaming and Comics for animated versions of classic Joe comics. And for anyone curious about the history of Joe, 3djoes.com is of course the best resource you can find. If you'd like future installments, or also have memories of the Marvel days of Joe, leave a comment and let me know. I'd be curious to hear from any creators who were also inspired by these old comics. I'm obligated to ask you to like, share, and subscribe, so I'm doing that now. But really, comments are fun and I'd appreciate hearing from you. Also feel free to check out my Amazon author page. Most of my books are free on Kindle Unlimited. Thanks and good night, and maybe one day I'll have a real sign-off.